August 12th. Ken and I back with another Ziti TV coming
Ziti
your
TV.
way. That's right. We got to get that. We got to get that opening theme song. If anybody's out there and is very skilled at video editing, wants to give us a 5-second bumper I can play on the intro. Maybe we'll just take that and loop that a couple times. We'll have a great bumper right there. Anyway, in an astonishing feat, it is yet again another beautiful, bright, sunny day. So bright that I've actually had to close my shades so that I have the appropriate lighting for a live TV adventure like this. As we know, Ken, lighting's so important, as well as the microphone. And I can't help but notice you're rocking a different microphone today.
Yep.
What happened? Where are you? Did you move?
I am dog sitting today, so I'm
Dog sitting.
a little bit closer to my charges down here in case they have needs, that I
Well,
can
that's
attend.
nice. Keeping track of them. They're not. I remember one time you and I were on a call and they were howling, and you referred to
Singing the
that
song.
as singing the song of their people, which I still remember to this day. Loved it. All
It's a
right,
very
cool.
sad song.
Sometimes it can be. Let's see. So what are we doing today? Let's take a look at the old slide. Bring that guy on screen here. Boop boop. Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go this way. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're going to take a look at release notes like we always do. We're going to take a look then and see something I think is a really interesting and neat. It's all about CVEs, Lambdas, and OpenZiggy. I don't know if everybody's familiar with what a CVE is or even what a Lambda is, but hopefully the intern, as I have taken to calling him for the social media promotion, Spencer, will take us through what he did, show us some interesting things. We can talk about why we did it, why it's relevant to Ziti and OpenZiti and OpenZiggy, and just take a chat and see what he did. It's always cool to have an intern. Always appreciated to have somebody show up and be able to contribute something back to the company that's useful. And so I was excited that he agreed so generously to come on Ziti TV and show us all about it. So cool. Well, let's
Totally.
get into the release notes then. Where are the release notes? This button. Hey, I did it. All right. So in last week's Ziti TV, we went over 0.26.4's release notes. And as we can see, the release notes for 26.5 are relatively scant. Now, if I don't remember incorrectly, Ken, you were involved with 26.5, weren't you?
Yes, we just wanted to make sure that the change of permissions in the repository were going to work.
What
So,
repository?
Artifactory, in fact.
Okay, so we're like publishing artifacts there for some reason?
Yep. So Artifactory is part of our release machinery. It's one of the places that we shove artifacts so that we can do some more testing on them. And while I had noticed that there were some unexpected permissions granted there, so I had wanted to just revoke those permissions, make sure everything still works.
So like administrator, something silly like that?
Yep,
Exactly that?
exactly that. Yeah. Typically,
Sweet.
yeah, it was just an account that wouldn't normally have the permissions that it had. So I was trying to apply the principle of least privilege like a
Well,
good
that sounds
security
smart.
citizen.
That's great. All right, cool. All right, well that's and so no big deal. We just made
No
one
big
to make
deal.
sure
Nothing
that it's still
changed with ZD.
so that
Yeah.
we could still publish. I see. All
Yep.
right. Well then, moving on. Let's bring Spencer onto the
Hey, Spencer.
stage. Hello, Spencer.
Hello, Clint.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic. So excited to see you here on ZD TV, as is I'm sure everybody out there. Anybody in chat want to say hi to Spencer? Give him a shout out. Spencer, this is not the normal place that you usually are. Where are you? You are
Right
you are
now,
also someplace else.
yeah. Right now, I'm in the bunker suite at the RIT Ritter Ice Arena. Right
The
now, if you could
bunker
believe it.
suite. Well, that's
Yep.
interesting. And so, what are you doing there?
So right now, I'm working a temporary job. I'm working a temporary job helping out with a rummage sale that we're running, and this is just the most convenient place for me to do this.
I see. I see. And so what are you selling? Is there anything good?
There's some nice stuff. There's some used
Should people
speaker
pop
hardware.
down to RIT right now if you're in the Rochester area?
Maybe not right now. Starting Sunday, 10
Starting
to 2.
Sunday. Like, let's get the plug in. Let's get the plug. Yeah.
There's some good deals, It's
Nice.
called Goodbye, Goodbye.
What sort of selling? Like what's being sold?
Anything that previous year students didn't want. So we have some beds, some couches,
All
old
right.
clothes,
I
those
see.
shower
So now,
caddies like college
so
students have.
every person who shows up, I hope that you're going to tell them to go to the OpenZiti/Ziti repository and drop a star on the GitHub for me, right?
Oh,
And then you'll
for
give them
sure.
like $1 off.
Yeah, maybe I could do a ZD special, if you give me a star.
You
show
totally
me
should, dude. And if they
yeah.
need stickers, you tell me. I'll get them some stickers. I should have some stickers somewhere around here. We get them some
Yeah.
stickers. We got to spread the word about Ziti.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
great.
I'm not even kidding.
He's not.
You know I'm not. All right, cool. Well, so Spencer, what do you have to show us today? You want to talk about it before we just get into it, or do you want to just get right into it?
Yeah, so
How do
I
you
can
wanna do
talk
it?
about it.
All right, cool.
So I was, given the opportunity to work on a script to somehow compile CVEs, which are common vulnerabilities and exploits. So those are just little vulnerabilities or exploits, as the name suggests, that have been discovered recently, and they're published on the NIST database.
Now,
so you can,
are those the same things? I hear the word 0 day used. Is that what a 0 day is?
So some of them are, so they can just be vulnerabilities that are either patched or they have to be patched, and that they just represent a security flaw with some app or something like that. And it's just to let the public know what's going on or let companies know.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. And how did you come to find CVEs?
So I had been taught about them in some classes, but our our Ziggy Twitter account likes to tweet out whenever a vulnerability like that is released and something that can be solved with OpenZiti. So we like to keep track of those and be aware of them just in case something can be solved with our.
What sort of
solution.
vulnerabilities are particularly well suited for OpenZiti?
So we like ones with an attack vector of network. So those are ones that are primarily going to be exploited over the network, and things that require no permissions. So they can just be attacked immediately. You don't have to have any escalation of privilege. And our ZD software is particularly suited to handle these, as it blocks flaws over the network and tries to block out any access to these packets or anything that's being sent over the network.
Well, that makes sense because OpenZiti is all about having no open ports, right? So if you have a network vulnerable application and you had OpenZiti in front of it, well, then it's not open anymore because OpenZiti prevents it from being open. Now, would OpenZiti prevent somebody who is on the network from executing that exploit?
Honestly, I could not tell you if someone on the local network would be able
No,
to
not
be
the
stopped.
local network. If I had access to the OpenZiti network itself, would I be able to exploit the exploits?
No, our ZD software still protects from that.
You sure?
I'm not, honestly.
Flip that around.
I need a softball.
OpenZiti can't. Yeah, that's all right. So OpenZiti can't protect you from that if you're on the network, because at that point you are authorized to access that network. So it's not a panacea. It doesn't solve everything, but what it does is it reduces the attack vector from everyone, everywhere on your network to only those people who you trust already on your network, who you've already authorized and authenticated to be on that network. And also, I use two words there, authenticate and authorize, right? So the first step of an OpenZiti process is you have to be authentic. You have to present your identity. You have to be authenticated. And then you have to be authorized to access that service. So it could be that somebody special, like Ken, could access that service, and somebody not special, like me, could not. And so OpenZiti might protect you from those kind of vulnerabilities, but it won't protect you from somebody who's sufficiently authorized and authentic. So That's pretty cool though. So OpenZiti will really like. I don't like using the term, although it's the common term of blast radius. Ken, I need another term from that. What do you got a better term? I bet you got a better term.
Fault domain.
Fault. Well, I don't even know what that means. So
It's actually the same thing.
you always have good terms that I don't know, Ken. I need something that my mother could understand. That's my benchmark. I put a line in the sand. If my mother could understand it, then everybody can understand it. Or like Ed Griebel. If Ed Griebel, I mean, let's see if your father's watching here, Spencer. Let's see. I need some snark on my back channels now.
I don't know if we'll be watching.
Love it. All right, so cool. Talked about CVEs. We talked a little bit about why NetFoundry thinks it's interesting, why OpenZiti thinks it's interesting, because of our OpenZiggy. Oh, you know what? Oh my goodness, I had an opportunity to put I didn't even. Let's see, twitter.com/OpenZiggy, and I clicked cancel. I'm so bad at this. Let's see. Let's try https://twitter.com/OpenZiggy. Add Ziggy. I guess I got to give it a Twitter. Now I can show it. There it is. Hey, there's where Ziggy does that tweeting. It's probably already in here, wasn't it? No, it wasn't in here already. Cool. So if you want to go check out and follow OpenZiggy, please do that. And if you're interested in those kind of CVEs, the most recent of which that was interesting was actually yesterday, and it was around VMware. I don't know if you saw that one, Spencer.
I did not. Nope.
Do you follow OpenZiggy, Spencer?
I don't know. I'm not a Twitter user, honestly.
That's
I
all
gotta
right.
give it a follow.
Right? That's for the old farts Twitter, right? What's the new hotness? What should we use instead?
TikTok.
TikTok. OpenZiggy can get a TikTok. I love
That'd
it.
be pretty good. Yeah, I would follow that.
That would be pretty cool. All right, cool. Well, why don't we get into it? Why don't you show me, or did you have more overview that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think just getting into it and showing what I made.
Cool. Let's do that. Let me bring this up, and you now have the stage.
Okay, awesome. So I originally made this script in Python, just on my own computer, just trying to run it and make sure that I could send some messages over to our Mattermost server. So once I had that figured out, and this is before I even thought about Zidifying it.
I take it back. Maybe there is one more step to explain here. So you're bringing about Mattermost, right? So Mattermost is a chat application. It's very much like Slack or any chat application, right? The difference is that we host Mattermost, and we have Zitified Mattermost. We're protecting it behind an OpenZiti network. So if you want to have access to Mattermost, you need to be on the OpenZiti network, and that's important because did you say what you were doing here? Like, I know you talked about CVEs, but you didn't talk about where you get it from. I can see from the URL on line 17 where you're getting it from.
Yeah.
But why don't you talk a little bit more about how that all works before we get into the actual nitty gritty here?
Okay. Yeah. So if I can pull this up, this might be the right site. Oh, nope. So this MVD, the NIST, they provide a database. Normally, it's just a graphical thing that you can scroll through. Here, let me pull up one of these links. A little bit of a spoiler here. So you have this CVE with all the details about it. You have your scores and your attack vectors, just a general overview of it.
Ooh, let's real quick here. You said your scores, and you showed the stuff on the right there. What are we looking at here? What is this? Can you describe this for me?
Yeah, so this is just kind of a breakdown of some of the characteristics of the security flaw. So like we mentioned earlier, you have the attack vector, it could be network or local, things like that. The scope, confidentiality, all these different aspects of the flaw.
And these go into, what is this CVSS?
So that is, I can't remember what that stands for.
It's the common vulnerability scoring system.
Yep. So the levels of these attack vectors and privileges required, all those, they get added up and they're compiled into a score just to kind of give a general idea of the the kind of scope and severity of this CVE.
It makes sense. So each of those slashes, then, like AV:\n slash, every one of those slash, it would be it's like some other criteria. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yep. So each one with the colon, that's the name of the criteria, and then after the colon is the level or type with that
Yeah.
attack vector.
And so I would imagine, so like AV attack vector, I know that one. And so there are things like none. And I think I heard you say there's local is another one, right?
Yep. That's
Are there,
another attack
and so
vector.
each of these little flags or each of these little criteria have like different levels: low, medium, high. Oh, I see an H down at the end there, an H for high, probably, right?
Yep.
And I think A is availability. That it's how much it affects how much the vulnerability affects the availability.
Yep.
Cool. And we see it's a 9.8, and I see an 8.6 is only considered to be high, and a 9.8 is considered to be critical. That's interesting.
Yep. So there's this is different versions of the CVSS and different people that audit the CVE. So it's just two different scores. You can kind of take that information how you like, which score you want to go with.
Cool. So you wrote a Python program that knows how to scrape this website and then knows how to apply some criteria, the ones that we want, in order to send a message to Mattermost. Is that what I heard you say?
Yep. So this provides an API that's really, really nice and convenient for pulling either the most recent CVEs, or you can apply some filters and things like that. So I can show you in this, I'm kind of building up a URL with certain filters, and all those, the vectors that we talked about, the CVSS, you can filter out for each of these. So I wanted ones like we talked about earlier with attack vector of network and privileges required none. So I was able to just build that right into this URL for the API call that I'm building. You can see it right here. I have CVSS v3 metrics equal to attack vector none and privileges required none. So that made it really, really easy for me to just send over this API call and get exactly the results that I want.
I also see some results per page and some other stuff in there. Is any of that interesting?
Yeah. So I'm also sorting for the modified start date and the modified end date. So just making sure that when I pull it, I'm not getting like a billion results. I have that actually going. Originally, I just had that doing the last 10 days just to kind of sort through my results. But once I started building up the script and I inputted it into the Lambda, I'm able to set this to run every 15 minutes. So I have these mod start and end dates being generated automatically, and I pass those into that method. So that way I'm just sorting through a 15-minute time. You see right here, I have it get
So you said you have written a Lambda and Amazon Lambda. What's an Amazon Lambda again?
So an Amazon Lambda is just a code hosting thing where you can have it set to run automatically with triggered by certain events. It's not like any other AWS infrastructure where you're storing data or anything. It's just for code execution, storing smaller, simpler scripts.
Some might call that stateless.
Yep. Some can definitely call it that. So I thought that it would be very convenient to have it run every 15 minutes just to make sure we were not missing any of these CVEs.
Okay, cool. So I actually didn't even know it ran every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes it'll go out, it'll run this REST request, and then it'll filter and do some things. What happened? Like, does it just get all the results from every 15 minutes and send them, or?
Yep. So I have some filtered results or some filtering. Yep. So every 15 minutes it runs that. I also have it filtering for the level of score that it is. I don't want anything lower than, I believe, a 8.5. Yep, 8.5. I don't want anything lower than that. So every 15 minutes, this whole script runs.
We did the 8.5 just because, everything under 8.5 is like, meh. And anything over 8.5 is like, oh my goodness, I got to deal with this.
Yeah, definitely tweetable. Everything over 8.5.
Sure.
And there's a lot of CVEs in the world.
There sure are.
So,
yeah, we learned that lesson the hard way, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So I have here running every 15 minutes, like I said, and I can start to talk about the Zitification of this if you'd like, Clint.
Yeah, man. I was wondering if we were going to get into it because we know that the webhook on the Mattermost server is not publicly available, right?
Yep.
So you need to be able to get onto the Ziti network in order to send a message. So I was interested in how you did that and where you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the process was really, really simple. You know, I like to say simple enough that an intern could do it. To start, I had to get an identity. So I was given one of those and I enrolled it using the ZD command line interface using one command. And from that, I received a JSON file.
Now, did you have to do that because the Python SDK didn't support enrollment at that time?
I don't know, honestly. I did that because that was the simplest way for me to. But
okay, so let's take this as a learning opportunity for others, not for you, of course.
Yeah.
Right now, you could be given the identity and then as part of this Lambda you could save that state somewhere, right? So an identity would be saved state, right? Because it is a secret that you are retrieving and using further down the road, right? How did you store that secret? Where did you store that secret? If you were given one, if you did it inside of here, you would have to do that enrollment every single time, right? So every time the Lambda ran, you would need to run the enrollment, which is not what we have.
Yep. So I chose to enroll it beforehand, and then I stored the enrolled identity in AWS Secrets Manager, which is just a way to store sensitive information and pull it out easily using AWS commands and things.
Where does it do that in here?
So I have that. Sort through again.
Ooh, also, is this open source, the code?
No.
Can we share this?
It is on the Bitbucket. I don't know if
Did you mean not yet?
Not yet, I guess.
Cool. You totally should open source this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I have it here. Yeah, pulling up.
Gotcha.
I create a session. You know, I just pull it here. Yep, and that's where I pull out its name, the secret.
Neat. All right, and then I know we're jumping around a little bit, and I just keep interjecting. So I'm gonna try to be quiet again. Keep going through the Zitification.
Yep. So I have that stored. I pull the identity within this. And so the thing about Zitifying with the Python SDK, you have to store the identity in a file and then have this environment variable called Ziti identities pointing to the location of that file. So here I have zitiidentity.txt, and that's where I have the stored identity that I've just pulled from Secrets Manager here. So you have the environment variable that's pointing to this path to the file containing the Ziti identity. And so I kind of did it in a roundabout way because I chose to enroll the identity beforehand and, you know, just continuously pull that from the Secrets Manager. So I have the
perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable.
Yep. So because of that, I actually encountered an interesting issue because you have to pull this secret, you know, put it in the file, and then have this environment variable pointing to the file. I found that when you imported OpenZiti, it tried to enroll you immediately. It just looked for that file, which, you know, at the beginning of my script is empty. So I had to break convention here and import it later in. But, you know, that is not the best solution. Obviously, you don't want to break convention.
Did you happen to add a GitHub issue for this?
I did not.
That sounds like something that would be a good issue to file. So so you're saying
Definitely.
When you import OpenZiti, it tries to enroll the identity?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So you'd want to do that somewhere else, right? Not inside of your function, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So
yeah, you should file that. That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. You could easily just, you know, have another function that preloads that file, and then you maybe call this with the call this later. So there are definitely solutions around breaking convention here, but, you know, I was not aware of them at the time, and it was too late to fix it. But
Oh, so
this works fine. It's
you're
just,
saying that there is a better way to do this now?
yes, for sure.
Oh, what's
Definitely.
the better way? Just so that somebody watching could do it
Hmm.
better. What did you
So
learn?
AWS Lambda, I thought that you were limited to one file, one script that you run, but you can create multiple Python files that, import and call each other and everything. So I could have this file running after the first, initialization step. There's also, I have not looked into it, but there is an initialization step, within Lambda itself where you can run certain things or store certain things. So there might be a way that you can pull this secret before the file even runs. Um, so there's ways around this for sure. This is just my solution, and it's a little bit roundabout. So once we have this secret pulled and stored in the file with the environment variable pointing to that path, we can actually import OpenZiti. So we have to deal with all this authentication, getting everything stored. But once we have that set up, it's as simple as importing OpenZiti and using this OpenZiti.monkeyPatch method. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how it works. It's a little bit of black magic to me, but I did monkey patch and everything worked
It is
as
black
normal.
magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eugene, one of our engineers, smart guy, figured out how to poke and prod the Python runtime in just the ways that it wants to be poked and prodded to be monkey patched. And basically goes in and replaces socket calls so that Ziti gets the socket call, and that way your Python program doesn't have to change too much. I do think I don't know if the monkey patch function is from Eugene or not, and I don't know, Ken. Maybe you might know that answer. But it is definitely a standard convention in Python to do this sort of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool that it's like supported and I would almost say even encouraged.
So after I monkey patch, it's just like normal. This is where I send over all the information with the, the CVE and everything. So the only thing I had to change was, adding this method where I pull from secrets manager, which, as I said before, that might not be the best solution. There's ways you could simplify it for sure. And then you import OpenZiti, monkey patch, and it was all the same. So it's just these two lines of code, and it's essentially Zitified. And this works. I didn't have to change my requests. I still just use that same thing. So it was all very, very easy. It's just, getting that identity stored in the correct place and making sure you have that environment variable pointing towards it.
And that's it, really.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you got the identity. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously you had to set up a ZD network. Where did you get your identity from?
I was granted that from another person that works here. I think Ken might have given it, or maybe Mike, but I was just given the identity and enrolled it myself.
I realize it must be part of the NetFoundry Mattermost network. So maybe it was maybe Edward, maybe Ken, maybe Mike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So now I am on. Oh, actually, where's my OpenZiti desktop Edge client? Here it is. So if I scroll this onto the screen, you can see I am actually on the Mattermost network myself here, and I have access to Mattermost. Uh, do you have? Did you close Mattermost, or do you have it open? Like here's the CVE list. I don't know if you
No,
planned to show this.
I have it open. I was planning to. I can sort of
Oh,
go through now.
fantastic! Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
keep it. Can you make it happen? Can you send one?
I can't send one right now. I mean, I could run a manual test. I might not have any results in the last 15 minutes um, that have it. But so we have this most recent one, and you see this is how I'm formatting each one. I have the score, where I pull, and then these emojis here will change based on what the score is. It's critical, so they're black, but if they're high, then it'll be red. I have the description, and then this is actually a hyperlink to the exact CVE that it's talking about in that message. So it
Yeah.
makes it
What is
really
that?
easy.
What does the post look like? Can you go back and show us what you used to create that message?
Yeah, for sure. So I have this, let me find where it is. Yep. So I had this create message. So it takes a CVE. This is the JSON that I get directly from NIST
Oh, so you just make a
for
markdown,
each
huh?
CVE. Yep. So I just go through all the information, kind of sort through it and add it to one long message. Here I have, going through
Nice.
the emoji thing, everything
We should
here.
change those to OpenZiggy things.
Oh, that would be good. I've
You
been
know, we
meaning
do
to do
have
that.
we
Yeah.
do have like I don't know if you noticed, but Dave Hart, our CTO, recently upgraded our GitHub webhook, and
Hmm.
when he did that, he used a bunch of OpenZiggy emojis
Oh.
to represent my favorite is when you approve a pull request,
Hmm.
you get Ziggy dabbing, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. And
Yeah. Maybe.
you know, you could see like we have some OpenZiggy as he's surprised and shocked, and
Hmm.
that might be fun. You
Yeah.
could always surprise us. You could
Yeah.
always
Definitely.
randomize it.
Yeah. See if I can get some fun things in there.
I love it.
Hmm.
Cool,
So a
man.
lot of this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to belittle it, but that was it. Like it was that easy.
It's that easy. Yep.
That is really cool. What was the hardest part?
um, Probably, uh, figuring out the issues with, importing OpenZiti after I have all the files set up. This is my first time using AWS Lambda, so it was kind of
Well,
difficult figuring out how to make environment variables because you can't, I had to create it through AWS, the menu itself. I couldn't do it just from Python. It wouldn't work for some reason. So there was a little bit of messing around with that to get it to work. But once I had it stored, it was all very easy. It was just trying to get to that step.
well, that's super cool though. So like, I mean, it, it seems very easy to add ZD to a Lambda. I
Hmm.
know I've had, so we're part of the Rochester Slack group. There's a dev Slack group. And I know there was at least one person in there who was interested in Zetified Lambdas.
Hmm.
So are there any other, like, we use this here for Mattermost, but do you think any person out there would use this? When would somebody want to use this? What situation would people want to use this from a Lambda's perspective?
Um, I mean, I'm not sure what people use Lambdas for, honestly. I don't know if this is a common use case, but just anytime you're sending information, either that is sensitive or to a sensitive location, it can be definitely easy, especially when it's this easy to implement. You could
Yeah.
just do this to almost any application that you have.
Well,
Um,
one of the important points here, everybody is
mhm.
adopting the cloud,
Yeah.
right? And so, in order to send a webhook, you have to have a a website that will receive that webhook, right?
Yeah.
So anybody technically could send or could try to send data to your webhook.
Hmm.
And webhooks incredibly common, right? And I
Yep.
think Ken, you did a Dark Jenkins blog, right? And
Right.
did you do a webhook too?
Yeah, that involves sending a webhook to a Jenkins that was not accessible on the internet
So
from
sort of
GitHub.
similar, but not quite the same. It's basically it's a GitHub action, which kind of like a Amazon Lambda, maybe,
Hmm.
Yeah, the source was GitHub, so we have to use the GitHub automation instead of Lambdas.
but same idea.
Yeah, same idea. Going from a cloud service or cloud provider service to a particular private server without making that server accessible, reachable, vulnerable on the internet.
Right. Well, cool. Well, push the test button. I want to see if there's one. Let's see if we
Yeah.
can make one.
Let's
You
see
can
what
always go
happens.
back. You can always change the code. You can force one to happen.
Oh, I see what the problem is. So this testing event you set up, it's a little bit different than just an API or a normal call. It sends some JSON with it as well. So,
Oh, so you can post a JSON.
yep.
You,
So this testing event you can configure.
yep.
So right now this is just the default values. But if you wanted to send specific things, or maybe I could have it do specific dates, I could edit it, and so I can change all of this. So I'm not sure why that testing event is throwing an error. Um, I could not tell you honestly.
Oh, I didn't see. So you tried it already? I did. I
Yep.
must have not
Yeah.
noticed.
Yep.
Oh,
So
there it
calling
is.
it. So
Oh,
status
403.
code 403.
That means not authorized, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. So this script is still working. It sent a message 15 minutes ago, but don't know why the testing event is unhappy.
Well, if anything is true, live demos never work
Yep.
out, right? Well, that's really cool, dude. Very interesting, very impressive. Do you have open? Oh, you have Ziggy's Twitter handle out there. Did you have Ziggy up by chance?
I do not. I do not have it up right now.
All right, I was going to show
Pull that up.
the tweet, but maybe I'll let me bring it up here. Let me find Ziggy. Where is old Ziggy at? Go to Twitter. This is not Twitter. This is OpenZiti. Go to OpenZiti. You can go to his tweets. This one right here. So this one came specifically because yesterday, every time these things pop off, we get these like Spencer was showing, and I noticed yesterday that VMware Workstation 1 Access had a 9.8. And so Ziggy thought, hey, that's going to be a good one to tweet out. And so there's Ziggy tweeting. That is the hard work of what Spencer did in action. So you scrape the CVE, you find the ones that are important, you bootstrap a Ziti, Python, Lambda, you send a special message to the server, and then somebody like me notices, or Ziggy notices, because it's totally not me. And then,
Ziggy,
and then Ziggy tweets. That's really cool. All right.
Yep.
Well, I think that's going to do it for today's Ziti TV. I think that was really cool. Spencer, thank you so very much for taking us on a tour. We'll look forward to when you open source this so that other people can look at your code and make fun of it or adore it, whichever.
Next time I need to write in Lambda.
Right? Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, again, thanks, Spencer. That'll do it. And we'll see you guys. Yeah, of course. It was great. All right, we'll see everybody next time. See you, Ken.